All right, folks, welcome in. Get comfortable because today's episode is packed. A big one. We're diving into all things Celtic, and the focus, of course, is what's shaping up to be a pretty revealing preseason. I know what you're thinking. Preseason already? The season just wrapped up. Now, we barely had time to take a deep breath, let alone think about getting the boost back on and the players running laps. But the truth is, time stops for no club. And if we want to hit the ground running in Europe, there's no room to dawdle. So let's get right into it. Celtic's plans for preseason are no longer just whispers or scattered rumors. Over the last 24 hours, the full picture has more or less emerged, and it's actually looking like quite a solid run of preparation ahead. Gone are the days of uncertainty and last-minute chaos. This year, it seems there's a proper structure being put in place, and the club's clearly aiming to get business done sharp. Now, for context, the boys are due back at Lennoxtown at the start of July. Usually, it's around the first week, and this time, it's likely to be either Monday the 30th of June or Tuesday the 1st of July. That's the point when the lads start filtering back in, doing the usual fitness checks, getting the boots back on, and starting the graft. Players who've been away on international duty typically get a wee bit more time to rest, an extra week or so, just to let the legs recover. But the good news is this year, the list of internationals is surprisingly short. Seriously, a lot of our key men are actually staying put this summer. Cameron Carter-Vickers, for example, won't be away with the US, which is a bonus. Same goes for Alistair Johnston. He's not with Canada, and no one seems entirely sure why. I saw something about a tournament Canada are playing, but some big names like Alphonso Davies and Johnston himself aren't included. Could be rotation, could be rest. Either way, it means Alistair gets a full summer off, which is massive. Callum McGregor, our Captain Fantastic, also gets a rare break. He's been non-stop for years with Scotland and Celtic, so this will do him the world of good. From Japan, Daisen Maeda and Reo Hatate are both sitting out their national team call-ups as well. Same with Gustav Lagerbielke and Odin Thiago Holm, who aren't involved with Sweden or Norway respectively. Even Arne Engels is not in the Belgium squad. So what we're looking at is a core group of first-teamers who will return fresh, recharged, and ready to go. Of course, a few are still away. Kieran Tierney's got Scotland duty, as does Tony Ralston. Those lads might come back a week later than the rest, but that's manageable. What it means is that for the bulk of the squad, the build up to the season is going to be smooth, focused, and with fewer interruptions. Right, let's talk fixtures. 2 preseason games are officially confirmed so far. The first is against Cork City on Tuesday, the 8th of July. That match is down in the south of Ireland and kicks off at 6 p.m. It's part of what they're calling the Cork Super Cup. Now, I had a wee look at the promo for this Super Cup, and honestly, it's hilarious. They're billing it as a showdown between 2 titans of football. A bit of a stretch, no offense to Cork. It gets even better when they call it a historic one-off event. Honestly, it sounds like we're heading to a Champions League final rather than a friendly. But fair play, it's a nice occasion for their fans, and it'll be a good run out for the boys. After that, the squad heads to Portugal for an 8-day training camp. Not the first time we've done that. We were there a couple years ago under Ange, and even before that with Brendan Rodgers in his first spell. This year, reports are pointing to Foro down in the Algarve. Lovely spot, sun's out, good facilities, and more importantly, a strong opponent lined up, Sporting Lisbon. Now, that should be a proper test. The only thing we'll need to watch is the kits. Both teams playing green and white, so someone's going to need an away strip, and I'm guessing it'll be us. That camp runs up to around the 18th of July, and then we head back to Glasgow for a high-profile friendly at Celtic Park against Newcastle United. That's going down on Saturday the 19th of July, kicking off at 3 p.m. This one's got a bit of buzz around it. Newcastle are expected to bring a big crowd. There's talk of up to 10,000 traveling Geordies, so it should be a cracking atmosphere. And look, these are the sort of opponents we should be playing in pre-season. It's a far cry from facing the likes of Blackburn Rovers or Norwich City, which, no disrespect, isn't exactly the same level of competition, but it doesn't stop there. After Newcastle, Celtic jet off to Italy, specifically the Lombardy region, to take part in a mini tournament hosted by Serie A side Como. Now, for those who've not kept tabs on Como, they're managed by Cesc Fabregas these days and finished 10th in Serie A last season. They've got a few well-known names knocking about, including Dele Alli and Sergi Roberto, who joined from Barcelona. There's a connection to Barca through Fabregas, and they also had young Alex Valle on loan from the Catalans last season. Not sure if he'll still be there come pre-season, but the squad's shaping up to be an interesting one. And that's not all. Como announced a partnership with Ajax recently, and because of that, the Dutch Giants, runners-up in the Eredivisie, will also be involved in the tournament. The plan, as far as we know, is that Celtic will play 2 games, one on the 24th of July and another on the 26th. The format hasn't been officially confirmed, could be a 3-team round robin, could be a 4-team knockout. But assuming it's just the 3 sides, it's likely we'll face both Como and Ajax, which makes for another 2 solid tests just weeks before the season kicks off. So just to give you a sense of the schedule we're looking at, back to training. Early July. Now then, Cork City on the 8th, Sporting Lisbon during the Portugal camp, Newcastle at Celtic Park on the 19th, and 2 games in Italy against Como and Ajax on the 24th and 26th. That's a proper run of games, and when you add it all up, it's a very decent standard of opposition. What stands out to me is how balanced it feels. There's no flashy transcontinental tour like last summer's American trip or the one to Japan the year before. And sure, that might disappoint some overseas fans who were hoping for a glimpse of the boys in action. But staying in Europe, keeping things tight, and focusing on solid football prep might just pay off when the Champions League rolls around. Speaking of Europe, the Champions League draw happens on the 4th of August, and the matches start a couple weeks after that. By then, we'll already be a few games into the domestic campaign, which is a luxury we didn't have in previous years. I remember that tie against Midtjylland a couple seasons ago, right in the middle of July. We were nowhere near ready. This time, we've got over a month more to prepare. That could make a huge difference. Now let's switch gears for a moment. Liam Scales. The Irish defender had a wee interview with the Irish Independent after our Scottish Cup defeat to Aberdeen. Not much bombshell stuff in there, but one thing did stand out. He spoke openly about how he didn't expect to get a look in last season, and when he did, it felt like a free shot. There were injuries, and he took his chance playing in his preferred position at centre-back, not left-back as many assumed. And fair play to him. You can have your own opinions about his ceiling, but no one can deny that he stepped up more than anyone predicted. He's unlikely to be a nailed-on starter going forward, especially if we bring in another centre-half this summer. But having someone like Scales in a squad who knows the system and gives everything when called upon is invaluable. He's earned his place, and I reckon he'll still play a role this season. Lastly, a quick word on Jeff Schlupp. Crystal Palace have confirmed he's leaving after 8.5 years at the club. He even picked up the chairman's award for his contribution. There were whispers about a possible move to Celtic, but to be honest, that's cooled right down. He wasn't dreadful by any stretch. In fact, he started quite brightly. That performance against Bayern Munich sticks in the mind where he looked solid. But there were other games, like the Derby defeat or the away trip to St. Johnstone, where he struggled. And Brendan Rodgers eventually replaced him with Greg Taylor, who ended the season strongly. Would I be furious if Schlupp signed? Not at all. He's experienced, he's versatile, and he seems like a great guy to have around. But if you ask me what I expect, I'd say Celtic will go younger and aim a bit higher for that left-back role, especially if Kieran Tierney does indeed return. And that's where we're at right now. Preseason plans are nearly all mapped out. The transfer window's about to open, and we're less than 5 weeks away from the boys being back on the pitch. So whether you're buzzing for those warm-up games or already dreading the early kickoffs, and sleepy friendlies, buckle up, it's coming fast. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important. For Celtic FC fans, rumors are running rife across social media after Ronaldinho Gaucho, the legendary Brazilian magician, openly heaped praise on Celtic. A weak Carmen Freda football icon has set the Celtic faithful alight, fueling chatter and sparking hopes of some sort of link to the Parkhead Giants. What exactly did he say? Well, nobody's quite sure of the full context, but snippets of his admiration for the famous Glasgow club HIV surfaced, and that's been more than enough to send the Hoop supporters into a frenzy online. Ronaldinho, who needs no introduction to any football fan, is kin for his silky skills, infectious smile, and his legendary status at clubs like Barcelona and AC Milan. But no, it seems the Brazilian wizard has a soft spot for Celtic. Some reckon it stems from that iconic Champions League niche back in 2004, when Ronaldinho's Barcelona side faced a spirited Celtic team in an epic clash. It's no secret that the raucous parkhead atmosphere left a lasting impression on many. A superstar, and Ronaldinho is no exception. The internet HIV been buzzing with speculation that the Brazilian might be involved with a club in some capacity, maybe a charity match, a coaching appearance, or simply lending his legendary name to an event. Of course, others are taking it further, whispering wild notions about ambassador roles or promotional tie-ins. As is often the case with these viral moments, facts are scarce, but the passion for the Celtic support is anything but. Adding fuel. To the flames, several Celtic players HIV liked and shared clips of Ronaldinho's comments, stoking the idea that there could be more to this than just a casual compliment. The fans, always quick to dream big, are picturing the Brazilian maestro pulling on the famous green and white hoops, even if just for a Legends match. No official statement has come from the club or from Ronaldinho's camp, but one thing's for sure, the mere mention of Celtic by such a revered figure has lifted spirits and set tongues wagging across the terraces and timelines alike. As ever in Glasgow, the rumour mill spins fast, and only time will tell if this latest buzz is pure fantasy or something more tangible. For new though, the idea of Ronaldinho Gaucho showing love to Celtic has become the latest chapter in the club's storied history with global icons, and the fans will surely keep the flame burning as they await what comes next. Hello fan! Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.